the more times you can actually get in front of and interact with women who are equally invested and make equal amounts of effort to you, you're going to have more rewarding dating experiences. So I know how annoying it is when you see a woman that you're attracted to online, but she has written absolutely nothing in her online dating profile. I'm dating coach and TED speaker Hayley Quinn, and in this short video, I'm going to tell you 3 strategies or ideas about how you can creatively message women online who don't have an online dating profile. And of course, just for the women out there, if you happen to have stumbled across this video, it's really good to write a profile, not only because it shows effort towards the dating process, but also then it's a really good indicator for you which guys have actually read your profile when you receive their messages. Okay, so our first strategy is all about prompting her to invest in the conversation with you and to tell you something about herself. The first part of this is you want to do something to acknowledge the fact that she hasn't written a profile. So you can make a little comment like, "That's a very mysterious profile there." Showing that you've noticed the lack of profile is actually good, because obviously it's preferential for a woman to have written a profile. So you want to show that your self-esteem is really in the right place by drawing attention to that in a way that's playful and that isn't critical. You then want to follow this up with a question to her that prompts her to share some information with you. So a fun way of saying this is you could say, "So what's one thing I'd have never have guessed about you from your profile?" So by phrasing the question this way, it sets up a fun and playful challenge where she has to come up with something creative or interesting that she's doing to share with you. This also positions you as the kind of guy who has standards. Now that is so important in the world of dating. Of course, you should be thinking, "I really like her pictures, but if she doesn't actually send me a really good message here, I'd probably lose interest in her." So by asking her to share something that's interesting, something you would have never have guessed about her, that sets up a little challenge for her to complete. And of course, if she does share that information with you, that's a really good sign. If of course she writes back, "I don't know," or "can't think of anything right now," you would probably want to end the conversation there. If she does send you that piece of information, it's a really good sign for your continuing of the conversation. Just a quick note on this before I move on to my next strategy, it's really important that you get the phrasing right. If you say, "Tell me something about yourself," it can sound a little bit like a psychotherapist. So you want to make sure that when you ask questions like this, that it is definitely playful and that she couldn't interpret it in another way. So the second strategy is kind of a more risky and interesting and daring version of the first strategy. So we have a saying in the world of dating coaches, and that is sometimes some risk equals some reward. So sometimes by saying something's a little bit more playful, for the people it does connect with who get that sense of humor, it's going to really vibe and create a strong spark at the start of your interactions. So again, in this instance, you might want to start off by acknowledging the fact that she hasn't written anything in her profile by saying that phrase again, "Mysterious profile there." Then you can say ... "Does this mean I get to make things up about you?" ? So this is quite teasing. It's saying like, "Do I have free license to make up stuff about you?" Now, when you say to someone the word "you," it really hooks them in and makes them feel prompted to respond. It's like almost like you're a reporter and you're writing a story about them and you're asking them for comment. Like, are they going to actually say, "No, absolutely not. I deny that"? Or are they going to say, "Yeah, let's see what you have"? Either way, it could set up for a really playful exchange. And the thing with online dating messages is, as I'm sure you've experienced, they can get a little bit boring from time to time. So if you can set yourself up to have a more playful and creative exchange, where perhaps you're suddenly imagining all these like weird hobbies that she has or things that she does, immediately the conversation is going to be radically different from the other guys that she's speaking to, which should only help you to stand out more and for her to feel that attraction to you. Okay, so the third strategy is to comment on something from her pictures. Now, often pictures will tell a lot about somebody's life, and this is kind of a solid messaging strategy for you to use on a first message, and it's particularly helpful if she hasn't written a profile. Now, you do want to be careful, though, that you don't then default to boring questions. So say you notice there's a picture of her and she's clearly on holiday in a destination that you think you might recognize. Instead of going for the boring old, "So I see you like travel then," instead, we want to phrase that in a more playful way. So you could say, I don't know if I'd play this for the $1 million question, but if I had to guess, I think that picture of you is you're on holiday in XYZ. You could also, if you want, make a playful guess about where she's on holiday. So instead of saying, "Where was that picture taken?" you could say, "I could be totally wrong here, but I bet you're the kind of person that packs a massive suitcase," or "I bet you're the kind of person that travels super light." So by making an assumption, which is a guess about how she would interact and how she would lead her life, again, it's quite a strong prompt for her to want to comment on that. She's going to want to confirm or deny whether what you've guessed is right or wrong. It also shows some creativity and sort of sets you up to have that playful, teasing banter going back and forth. So if you've liked some of the messaging strategies we've spoken about so far, I'd really love it if you checked out some of my other videos on messaging. I think it's such an important communication tool. So if that's something you're interested in, please hit subscribe, check out the other videos on my channel. And if you want to get even more information, head to hayleyquinn.com/unite. The link is below this video. So I've also wanted to add in a quick bonus strategy, and this is a controversial one, but something that I think is really important, especially for any guys out there that are watching. And that is sometimes you can simply choose to filter women out who haven't written a profile. So instead of thinking, "Wow, I'm really attracted to her pictures, God, she hasn't written anything, what can I say to impress her?" Instead of going down that rabbit hole, you can instead think, actually, I really need to connect with women who are as invested in this whole process of dating and as ready to meet me as I am to meet them. So because of that, even if her pictures are really nice, if she hasn't written a profile, or she's written one but it doesn't have any personality, or if I'm messaging her and she just replies, "lol," then you know what? I'm actually going to leave it. And that, you'd be surprised, is actually an amazing strategy in itself, because the more times you can actually get in front of and interact with women who are equally invested and make equal amounts of effort to you, you're going to have more rewarding dating experiences.